Are you asking yourself if you should quit trading? Well, let's talk about your edge. Hey traders, this is Taylor with the Trader's Brain. And again, I'm just going to keep reminding you, Mindset Mondays, first Monday of every month, free group coaching. The details are down in the description. Take a look, register. I'd love to see you there. You can come and get coached, or if you don't really want to be in front of people, that's fine. You can listen in, you can just lurk, and you can just be part of our little group. So love to see you there. Today, we're talking about this question of, if you're asking yourself, is it time for me to quit trading? It's a heavy, heavy question for a lot of traders who are struggling and sometimes who've been struggling for a long time. And I'm approaching this from the perspective of edge, process, mindset, something you guys hear me talk about over and over again. And today we're talking about edge. First of all, let's define what an edge is so that we all are working off the same page. An edge is a set of trading rules that create a probability of profit. Okay? Set of trading rules that create a probability of profit. And we want to look at this over a series of trades, not an individual trade basis, but a series of trades. That's all an edge is. As Mark Douglas likes to say, and I love it, it's just the probability of one thing happening over another. So it's the probability of profit happening over losing, right? That's all an edge is. And when we're asking ourselves this question, right, if you're really thinking about is it time for me to quit? Or you're getting pressure from other people in your life, like, hey, maybe it's time for you to quit. Ask yourself this question first. Do I have a provable edge? I work with a lot of clients who come to me about mindset only to find out that they really don't have a provable edge. It is the first component of being a consistently successful trader. You have to have an edge, you have to have a process, and you have to have a trader's mindset, right? You need those three things. Without those three things, you're not going to get there. You're not going to make it, right? This is just the first step of having an edge is just the first step. So do you have a provable edge? If the answer is yes, then why do you want to quit trading? You have a provable edge. If the answer is no, then there's a very clear answer to that as well, which is, well, why do you want to quit trading if you haven't established an edge first, right? It's kind of like, hey, I'm going to quit college, and you haven't even paid your tuition to start, right? You're failing ahead of time. You're failing even before you really start the process. Now, what a lot of traders do when they get started, unfortunately, is they just start trading. They start trading discretionary, or they try to pick up someone else's rules and run with those. That doesn't mean that you have an edge. When you're asking yourself this question, you have to be honest with yourself. You have to be 100% honest. Now, I'll tell you, in my career, I've actually gone from one system to another system to another system. I've had to change. Part of it is because of market dynamics that have changed. And so things kind of threw me for a loop. But I had to be honest with myself about whether or not I had an edge. Things that were working before that suddenly stopped working, I had to look at that and be honest with myself and say, you know what, Taylor, you don't have an edge here anymore. You've got to go out and you've got to redo it again. And so this is a place where you need to be honest with yourself. Do you have an edge? If you do, then why do you want to quit? If you don't, then why do you want to quit? It's the same question no matter what. But we want to get started on this process of consistency by first having an edge. And I want to challenge you to go and do that. Now, how do you get an edge? How do you get a provable edge? Well, there's lots of resources out there. You can build it yourself. So that takes a lot of time, but you get to know it very well. You can buy it. So you can, go out and find someone who has an edge, and, there are going to be, people who sell their systems. And honestly, there are probably some good ones out there. I know that we kind of shun paid services in this trading world, but, there's some good paid ones out there too. So look for those that are available for you. So you can build it or you can buy it. Those are kind of the two big, ways that you can get an edge. Now, how do you prove it? Well, you prove it by back testing. You prove it by, looking at someone else's data, or you prove it by forward testing. That's it. And it doesn't matter which way you go to kind of get those statistics, but your edge needs to be provable. You need to be able to walk away and say, over a series of trades, I have a profit factor that's greater than 1.0. That's what you need. So profit factor is a key characteristic here when you're looking at edge. Look at profit factor. Don't just look at win percent. Don't look at average win-loss ratio. Look at profit factor. It takes all of those things into account. If you have a positive over 1.0 profit factor, you have a statistical edge. Now, the next question is, how big of an edge is it? Because maybe that's not executable. And that's where we run into process challenges. Your edge may not be executable, or it is executable, but you're just not executing it. So that's where we roll into process and mindset. Okay, but let's start with just edge. Look at your edge and then ask yourself that question. Do I want to quit because I don't have an edge, or whether I do have an edge? Because the question is the same either way. All right, let's talk about process next. See you there.